The emerging technologies that we decided to share with you, Leslie Smith and myself, Kathryn Hawk, is something called Sutori, and it is a virtual storyline that you can use. Now, you don't have to use it just for a story. You could use it for history, like a timeline in terms of events, maybe even current events. You can also do it in terms of necessary steps to complete a certain experiment in science. You could use it for a variety of different things, but very cool resource and very easy to do and very easy to use, and it links straight to Google, which is kind of nice as well. So let me just show you a couple options here. I am under just a trial period. If you want to purchase it, I believe it's $9 a month, or I think you can purchase an annual subscription for about $99. So if you did the annual subscription, you'd save a little bit of money. But if I go into my stories here, you would want to set up a class. I've already set up my classes, English 1, English 4. Those are what I teach. If I wanted to create a new class, I would go in here and kind of import this also through Google Classrooms, or I could have them join a class if something has already been established, or create a class. So I've already had my classes set up that way. So let me go back to the stories. The one that we're going to look at today is To Kill a Mockingbird, and I use that with freshman English. And this is kind of the general feel of it. I'll show you a couple features here in a little bit as far as how to design it. So notice it's a virtual timeline. There's a timeline in the middle of it here where you can add and delete things and embed things and videos and so on and so forth. So the other options too that you can embed in here, of course, is pictures. I have a Google Maps that I'm going to have the students explore the town of Monroe County, or the Monroe County Courthouse, and then of course a couple other videos, and then the forum questions. Here's how I'm going to do assessments with this particular assignment. As they're reading through the assignments and the selections, they have to answer various questions. And I'll show you how I can access those once we're done with the lesson. So setting of the story, historical background. One of the things I really like, though, is the quiz option. So let me get down to introducing the characters. I have a couple YouTube videos in here. This is actually done as a pre-assessment to see what they know, but it is a matching quiz here. So I would go down to the choices that I have available, and I would decide which one I would want to put there. So I would just drag it to the according character. So Scout's older brother is her protector and closest confidant. That, of course, his name is Jem. So I would scroll up and find him and drop him right in. And if I get it right, it turns it green. Now, if I would want to get it wrong, it would turn it red. So you would always want to, of course, have it green. So there's different characters that I've had labeled here that I want them to read some quotes from the books about, and then there's a final assessment here at the end that they need to answer in order to understand that. So let's say, for example, I want to go make my own quiz, or I want to go make my own Sutori. Let me just show you a blank one, and we can kind of walk through the steps on how to do that. You just go to Create a Story, and then you would add your banner image. So you could either drag an image link here or drag from a file, and it would upload right into there. Now you would insert a title. You would maybe have a directions or introduction to your Sutori here, and then you would insert a heading if there were certain parts to it. So let's just pretend that we're going to just add in a couple things so you can see the options here. So if I wanted to just add in text, of course I would pick this. If I want an image, I would pick this. The video I'm going to skip over just because I found a better option in terms of the video. Actually, you want to use embed if you want to do the video. So we're going to skip over this one just because it takes a long time for a video to upload. You could add in audio, you could add in a discussion question like a forum, and again, embed. I've chosen that for my video, and then you could do multiple choice. You could do a matching quiz, maybe just like a fun fact information, and then if you want to add in a header. So let's just pick that we're going to do multiple choice question. I just go up here, edit. I could add an image here if I want, and you could say, we'll just come up with a question: true or false, the sky is blue. And then I would, of course, put in my choices: true, false, and then the correct explanation, of course, is true. So you would want to turn that green, and then it would show like that. Okay, and now if I got it wrong, of course, it would turn it red, and if I got it right, it would turn it green and give me a little smiley face. So that's pretty neat there. So let's say, for example, I'm going to assign this for my students to complete. So I want them to do this as an assignment. I'm going to go into one that I've already kind of started. I'm going to go into Frankenstein here. And if I want them to take a quiz, like, for example, there's a couple quizzes in this particular forum that I've borrowed from somebody else. You would go to View Analytics. And underneath here, you can, once you assign this to students, you can see how long it takes them to run through the Sutori. So if a student completely misses it and you're wondering why, maybe it's they didn't spend enough time on that. So that's kind of neat that you can look at that. So quizzes up here, you can see what they missed, what they got correct, what their score is, and you can add that into your grade book. And then discussion questions up here too. If you have any discussions or forums, those show up into this section here. So that's pretty neat. I like that option there that you can kind of grade instead of like scrolling through a massive amount of information. You can grade that way. So let's say, for example, you want to use something that somebody else has done. There's a ton of resources on here that you could use. So let's say, for example, I want them to research Macbeth. I want them to do a Sutori on Macbeth, or I want to see a Sutori on Macbeth. I can go through and there is just a ton of information on here about Macbeth. You can even find stuff about Shakespeare, character profiles, about particular events in the story, but these are all shareable information. So if I click on this one, actually I don't want to do this one here. I want to go back and pick this one here. This is one that you can kind of go through and read and watch videos. Notice it says compare and contrast. These are discussion questions that you could use. And then if you liked this one and you wanted to add it, you would go up to these little three buttons here, 3 dots here, and then you would hit copy story, and it takes a few seconds for it to kind of load. And you would make it your own. It would keep the same content, but you could certainly change the design, how you like it, and how it works for your classes. As I've kind of mentioned before, Sutori can be used as a student-led learning tool where the students would be able to create their own Sutori instead of having me create it, just to assess their learning, and they could share the link with you as their assignment. But again, that would cost money, and you would have to have that resource paid for the district. So that does get kind of pricey. But if you're looking just to do like a 30-day assignment, you could certainly use the free trial. So if you are still on the Sutori dashboard here, you could have them create a story, and let me just show you once again how to share it. If you go to share, like I said, you can embed it into a code, or you could share a link, or you could even do Google+. You could do Google Classrooms, Facebook, Twitter, or email. And if you don't want anybody to see it, you could make it private and only use that with the people that are sharing it with your class. So certainly you could utilize technology many different ways in this in this resource. In Sutori, you could definitely use it for teacher-led, where you could have a quiz here, or even some political cartoons, some forums, and certainly final assessments down here would certainly be easy to do that this way. I would be hesitant on final assessments here because I think it's easy to look out on the internet for other resources, but that is something that you could do maybe as a reading check or a formative check, but I would kind of stray away from summative check because I think that would definitely be time consuming, but you can definitely see how there are some resources that you can add in. Yeah, very neat, very cool. The matching and the multiple choice are the quiz sections there that are the best. Once again, stay away from the video because it does take a long time for the video to upload. It's better just to do embed, especially if you have the link, like it's a YouTube video or from TeacherTube or anything like that. You can post that. But the technology in this is very neat, definitely interactive, and I think students would really enjoy looking through some of the new resources that are available on Sutori. If you go up here, you can certainly look at pricing and look at who they are and what they're about. If you just go to their homepage, you can see how this affects teachers, business pricing, about, there's a blog, there's contact, even this little button down here gives you online chatting with anybody, and they're available on the help desk. So I've actually contacted them just about the video option there, why it's better just to do the embedding. So certainly this could be great for project-based learning, because as they're learning the assignment or learning the material, they can be creating a Sutori. So project-based learning would be very beneficial to use this resource, and it would definitely help with a final assessment with that. So I really like this tool, and I think I'm going to try to utilize it more and more. Of course, it does get you know, the price I would have to invest in the price there. So but other than that, this is a great resource, and I think you should try it out.